Hi guys, day 2 pendulum healing, and we are looking at the commands that you can give when healing. So many healers out there stand there, hold the pendulum above and say heal, which is all good and effective, I guess, for some people. I have gone through a transition. If you read the handout for today, I have very much changed my mindset as I have worked further with pendulums and dowsing. I did start, I don't even want to say how many years ago because it's quite embarrassing now. I am getting old. I did start in my teenage years with healing and specifically pendulum healing. After spiritual healing, I moved into pendulum healing, and it is a great tool for healing, but through the years I have found that unless you are targeting your intention specifically, then it is too broad to have a specific effect. For example, if you ask for healing for a person, that is a general healing. If you read cards, it's a bit like doing a general read. It's a bit of everything, a bit of goodness for everything. But if you specify a particular ailment, you are narrowing it down to fixing that problem. Just like, it sounds awful to compare, but a doctor will diagnose and he will fix that problem. It's similar to what we need to do. We do need to form some diagnostics. We need to form an understanding of what the issue is, and we need to heal it. We also need to know the root cause, because as we know, not everything in the physical realm is for a physical reason. If we take the concept, this is just an example. There are many people, especially here in Germany, doctors too, who believe that illness stems from discord. And discord could be anger or anything that is within you emotionally and energetically, then has an effect on the physical body. So when we're looking for a root cause, yes, it could be a physical root cause, but we also want to try and get deeper into, if it's not a physical root cause or if it's a recurring situation, where could that be coming from? And that is a huge, huge question. It's one that you can resolve with the use of pendulum and dowsing with them together. But for this lesson, we are working on commands and how you can give a command to a, you're not giving it to the object, but it's setting your intention that a specific healing will take place. I will mention Google a few times in this video, and that is because research is super important. I mentioned yesterday about quantum physics, etc. Research for me on any level is important. It raises our knowledge, it raises our understanding, it raises our observations on how things work and how we can make it work better. Another thing you need to think about is be having the mind of a lawyer. You need to have the mind of somebody who works in the legal system, somebody who will not let any loopholes get through. You want to cover every eventuality so that you give the best healing possible. We aren't like yesterday, we did the just one command. We aren't wanting to heal just one thing because health is more complicated than that. Health has several things that work against one another or with one another. We can't heal a wound without healing the cause of that wound. We can't heal a wound without the skin sticking together. We can't heal a wound without the bleeding stopping and scabbing occurring, for example. So there are things that have to happen in order to heal. And that is what a command is. A command is fixating on the symptoms, the cause, physical cause, and the root cause of the situation, the illness, the disease. So today is particularly a day where I am advising you to research a certain health situation that is important to you. And if you're on the live course, if you share them in the course, you and your classmates then can combine that into bigger commands. So if one person is working on depression, another person is working on wound healing, another person is working on cancer, for example, then everybody will be able to take note of that and write down the commands for the others for future reference. So, whatever you want to work on, whatever is important to you on a health basis, I want you today to sit down and write all the symptoms of that ailment. On top of that, I want you to consider what the physical causes of that can be. Again, Google is a great space to do that in. Write down all the possible causes of that situation. For example, if you have a child that's vomiting, what could the physical cause of that be? It could be streptococcus, it could be food poisoning, it could be a stomach virus, it could be gastroenteritis, it could be deterioration of the stomach lining, for example. All these things, it could be airborne, it could be bacterial, etc. They are physical causes of that ailment. Write them down. Then write down what could be, if you can think of them, don't worry if you can't, but what could be the energetic reasons for that? Is this something that's reoccurring? Is it something that could have a karmic nature to it? Could you have this from an attachment? Could you have this from bad habits, for example? So or have you argued recently and this has happened afterwards? Think of all the things that this could be attached to. You do not have to have an exhaustive list. We are starting the process of growing our knowledge. And once you have that list, you take your pendulum and you set the intention that I have listed in the document, and you run through every command. Remove all harmful viruses, remove all harmful bacteria from my mind, body, soul, and energy fields. Doesn't necessarily have to turn if the intention you are giving or the command you have set isn't applicable, it won't turn. There's generally some kind of virus in somebody's body. We all deal with it in different ways. There's generally some kind of harmful bacteria. It doesn't mean that you're getting ill, just means that it is detected in your body. And it moves left and then it moves right. And you do that, please stop. And you do that for every command. Big job. So to start pendulum healing, what you need is a book. This book I have had for so many years. In this book, I have pictures of people I healed, pictures. That's Nate when he was small. I have a list of the commands that I want for that person, or a reminder of what I want often. There's Lloydie. Oh, I haven't updated this in a while, as you can see. I also have my house, whenever I want to do any work on my house. And I have some homemade charts, my percentage chart that I use when I am completing. I don't use the book so often anymore because whatever piece of paper is around, I start to draw on. The first thing you should do is have a yes or no chart. I'm sure I have a yes, no here. I generally scribble yes, no on a piece of paper and work that way. Ask first whether your patient is ready for healing. We're testing on ourselves today, and you want a yes or a no. I'm sure there's my yes or no. See down there. My yes and no. So, am I ready to receive healing? Yes. Am I in a state to, you'll see I always have my left hand in my receiving position. Am I able to provide healing? Yes. Will the patient's condition improve with pendulum healing? In this case, me. Yes. If you get a no answer to any of those, question whether you should go with the healing. You can raise your vibrations as per the first course that we did, the basics of pendulum dowsing. You can raise your vibration and then test again. You can raise this patient's vibration and then test again. But if you continue to get a no, just keep your finger weg. Keep your nose out of that situation. It is not a health situation in which you should be playing around. So a no is a no. Just don't do it. Then you need to create a pendulum chart for percentages. Where's mine? I have a very, very simple percentages chart. We want to know what percentage health I am at. 80%, not bad. Want to know what healing abilities I have today. 100%, super duper. What improvement is available to me if I give myself pendulum healing. 100%. Thank you. And then you need to consider again all those commands that you have written down. You need to understand which of those symptoms apply to you. So you create a chart. And here's one for sickness, for example, that I have written once in my trusty book. And the cause of sickness, we have norovirus, we have stress, we have food poisoning, other sickness bug, bacteria, parasites, medicines, food allergy, not enough food, too much food. And this is one that I've done obviously when one of the kids was ill and I've checked against it. So the health situation that you have Googled and written down commands for, you then put into a chart and test which one applies. It may be multiple. You can also do a number chart, 1 to 10, and ask how many on this list do I need to add? Get a number and then go on to your, for example, the cause of sickness like here, and then ask for 2, show you 2. So it will go to 1 and then it'll go to another one. And then we move on to our physical cause. What could be the physical cause of this? That is what I did here, the cause of the sickness. That wasn't the symptoms. The symptoms that you will check for your health thing, for example, the symptoms of sickness would be vomiting, diarrhea, stomach cramps, similar, headache maybe, the actual symptoms. So you do a chart and make sure that you are covering every eventuality. And you create your smaller list of commands then based on those findings. And then root cause. Root causes are really difficult, and I wouldn't beat yourself up too much about it in the beginning. You can create a chart that says, is this a spiritual level? Is this a karmic level? Is this a soul level? Is this an emotional level? Is this a physical level and have nothing to do with any form of spirituality, for example? In mine, I have spiritual, mental, astral, ethereal, and body in a test. Easy to write out, have it in your book, and then you refer back to it. And once you level it down to a level, you can then go into that level, and it is basically research on your behalf what the mental level would be. For example, is this a psychological problem? Is this something that counseling would help for? Speaking, for example. So they're all narrowing it down into a set of commands that then you give to your pendulum to heal that person. So for example, if we have found something that we believe is on a psychological level, the cause of it is psychological, we can aid a psychologist or aid a counselor. You can refer your client to a counselor, for example, but you can also aid in that process by giving healing for that psychological problem, raising the vibration. I have talked a lot, but it is much simpler if you look at the handout. Read through the handout before you do the exercise, then complete the exercise, and please let me know how it went. Have a wonderful day and start researching and start creating a book in which you will work yourself. If you don't like books, do it on the computer and print it out. Simple. Have a lovely day.